All right, let's take a look at this example. It asks us to write the equation for the axis of symmetry, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. We know that the equation that we need is negative b over 2a. And I know that this is my a term, this is my b term, and this is my c term. So we are going to plug those into our formula. So a negative b, I already have a negative 4, so that's actually going to be a positive 4. I'm going to take the opposite of what it really is. The next number is always going to be a 2, and now I need to go back up to my formula and see what my a was. My a was also a 2. Alright, so 4 divided by 2 times 2, which is going to be 4, and that's going to be 1. Therefore, x is 1. So in order to find the coordinates of the vertex, we need to use the x that we just saw for our axis of symmetry to find the y, and that will be the x and the y of our vertex. So we do that by plugging in the x that we just found back into the original equation for x, and that way we can solve for y. Let's plug that in and see what it looks like. So I've rewritten the equation, but instead of using x's, I plugged in 1. So let's look at our exponent first. 1 squared is still 1. So 2 times 1 is still just going to be 2. So that simplifies to 2. Negative 4 times a positive 1 gives me a negative 4. And we're just going to carry down that plus 1. So 2 minus 4 gives me negative 2, and then negative 2 plus 1 is going to give me a negative 1. So I just solved for a y of negative 1. Therefore, the coordinates on my vertex are going to be the x from my axis of symmetry of 1, and my new y of negative 1 is my vertex. Next question asks us to identify the vertex as a maximum or a minimum. So going back to our original equation of 2x minus 4x plus 1, I'm looking at this term right here, the very first a, and I need to ask myself if that is positive or negative. And it is a positive 2x, so therefore it's going to be happy. And happy parabolas look like this. And happy parabolas have a low point, though, which makes that a minimum. Now, in order to graph the function, we just need to use some of the points that we just found. For sure, let's start putting a point on our vertex of 1, negative 1. So over 1, down 1. We have a point on our vertex, or I'm sorry, that's our x. It is our vertex point, and we notice that we have a minimum. So our parabola is going to be a happy face, and it looks kind of like this. So that's a rough sketch of what your answer would look like.